Hey guys, we are starting a brand new project. This one is going to be another collaboration with Vicky and I. I'm going to do some carving. Vicky's going to do some resin work. This is a little bit different. I think Vicky's process is going to be a little bit different than what my process normally is, but she'll get into that. So we have a piece of what we think it's some kind of hardwood. It feels like mesquite to me or something like that.
We got glare. There we go.
It's possible it's cherry, but it just doesn't look like cherry to me. It's very pretty. Vicky had it for something else and has reworked it.
I've done some resin work in.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a resin fill here, but anyway, so this is going to be a cutting board. This is the pattern, a serving board. Yes, a pattern that we're going to put in there. This is going to be actually raffled off. Our daughter-in-law, Amy, Ryan's wife, is a professional dog trainer, and she's going to be raffling this off for a fundraiser at an event coming up in Escalon, in the town they live in. So this is the pattern. We printed it out. It's the same size paper here. So that's what I normally do, is I mock it up and then I make my marks of where the pattern, where I want the pattern to be. And so I'm going to tape that in place.
Printed that with the best ink instead of just regular.
Was it printed best quality?
It was not. That's what I'm saying. I should have done that, but
well, fortunately, I think
because it's a light wood, huh?
Yeah, and the fact that it's not any really detailed lines or anything, I think it will work. Got to get those corners right. That should do it right there. All right, so this is an inkjet transfer, and we transfer this on with again, an inkjet printer onto label backer. This is a label backer, but you could use freezer paper. I've used that in the past. Thank you, darling. And we're just going to use, you can use just about anything. I like my little router bit depth gauge. It works pretty well for me. The one issue, I like this label backer. I think number one, it gives a little bit better transfer, and number two, you can see it's kind of translucent. I can actually see the pattern through the paper, whereas the freezer paper is thicker and you can't really see the pattern through the freezer paper really well. The bad part is the paper is thinner, so it tears much easier, so you have to be very careful and not tear it, which I've done many times.
So this picture I just got off of Google. It's not a template that we have.
That's pretty good. I think that gives me enough to go by. Again, I think if it was the best print, it would be a little bit better, but I think that gives me plenty of line to go by. So I'll have this next to me when I'm carving, but I think I can pretty much figure out where to carve there. So that is it for that. We are going to move this party outside and get to making some sawdust. We'll be right back. Hey, all right, we're outside now on the patio, and I am going to... Yeah, it is kind of humid. Yeah, we've got
stuck on your hat.
A fly stuck on my hat?
Well, he's gone now.
Okay. I thought he was stuck on my hat. It's not quite that humid. Anyway, yeah, we're in monsoon season, so we're getting some thunder showers, but it's kind of humid for Arizona humid. Not like Texas humid or Louisiana humid, but for Arizona. Anyway, so back to the point here. I've got the new 60-degree 3-fluted bit in. I'm using my Cobalt. I think my battery is good. I guess I should have checked that. Yeah, I got 3 bars. And I've got it set at about 3/16. So let's get, and I've got the fairy lights held in with my clips. So this will be our first long-term test of those to make sure that they hold. I think they're gonna. Anyway, so let me put my cheaters on and let's get it going. Here we go. Wow, that is a tough board to carve, and something was happening. I was getting the router base was kind of sticking on me a little bit. You can see how it's kind of building up there. That router base is sticking a little bit. I kind of toughed it out, but I really should have stopped and put some wax on the router base plate. Anyway, so these pieces here, Vicky wants those to be flat, so I'm going to switch over to the spiral upcut and take those pieces out. So we'll be right back. Okay, so that initial cut you guys saw, I was way too deep on that initial cut with the 60-degree bit, so I backed it out to about just a hair under 1/8 of an inch, and now Vicky again wants these flat, so I'm going to go in with my regular spiral upcut. This is not the 1/8 inch, this is the 1/4 inch spiral upcut, and I am going to flatten those things out, or I'm going to attempt to. Haven't switched over.
Yeah, that wire, I'm wondering if it's going to be That's better. Thank you.
That better?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've got to switch over to my clips on these on this deal. I haven't done that yet. Here we go. Where's my switch? Over here, right? So I was just asking Vicky if she wanted me to go deeper on these flats because of this first toe that I cut at, I guess that must have been about 3/16 or something. But Vicky says it doesn't matter, and I think once it's sprayed black and filled in, I guess maybe did I just blow it there? Yeah, we're going to spray this black and fill it in and sand it off. So, well, we'll sand it off first, then we'll fill in. Yeah, I'm all over the place. All right, so we'll be right back.
Hi guys, welcome back. So you saw this, not a cutting board. It is not a cutting board. This is a serving board. It's going to have resin on it. You don't want to be slicing into it and getting little flakes of resin in your food. So this is a serving board. So I'm just going to right now, I've got several steps that I'm going to do that are different than what I normally do, but I like the looks of it. So I mixed 6 ounces of resin. That's 3 and 3 of the hardener and the resin from Totalboat's Tabletop. And I'm going to just fill this. I made 6 ounces because these little puppy paw things are pretty deep, and the heart, I do have a little thing here extra just in case. I have extra, always be prepared. And I'm just going to fill this up. I did spray it. I sanded it down, sprayed it with some, just the clear gloss finish that Eric uses on all of his signs, just to seal it up and to seal that on the inside where the wood has been exposed again. So I just want to fill that up a little bit. And
so off camera, we sprayed it with a black primer, and then Vicky sanded it off, and then, like she say, sealed up.
Sealed it up.
Black.
Well, I sealed the whole board. I think Eric doesn't think this is cherry. For some reason, I have it in my mind that it is cherry. I know it's a very hard board.
No, that's not cherry.
That's not cherry?
It's
okay.
Definitely not cherry. I think if it's not mesquite, it's something like mesquite.
Okay, but I just didn't want to take any chances that it was going to be real porous. I want everything filled without a lot of bubbles. Although, in this particular process that I'm going to do, the bubbles, they matter, but I will be able to get them out and still seal everything up. So that's kind of that's my story, and I'm sticking to it kind of a thing. So this is a board that I am making for Amy, our daughter-in-law. They're doing a, what do they call it? Park feet. It's a, what do they call it? Goodness, I went blank. It is a,
like a local carnival event thing.
Yeah, it's festival. Gosh,
Festival.
I'm lost on my words exactly what I want to call it. But anyway, Ryan is going to be doing, he's going to have a booth kind of thing for his personal defense. And Amy, who is a dog trainer, is going to be doing a booth for her dog training. So I'm making this so she can raffle it off for a fundraiser for her dog training business. So anyway, I have this extra thing here, a mold that I'm going to fill up with this extra stuff. And this is a lid to that bowl that I made a while back, or that jar.
You want to See it?
Yeah. There's the jar that I made with some resin that was extra. Extra. Anyway, so once this is dry, then I'm going to come back and do another, what I call the Andrew method, which is a different finish over the resin. And this particular finish helps to actually put hotter pots and pans and stuff on your board. I think with this process that I'm going to do, you can put something as hot as like 800 degrees on the actual board. So anyway, so I'm going to do that, and we will be back once this is dry. We got a lot of sanding to do on it, and then I'll show you what that's all about. So we'll be back in a little bit. Hi guys, welcome back. So I poured this resin on here yesterday, and it looked beautiful, and I checked it a couple of times. It looked great. And then we checked it last night or this morning, and it didn't look so good. So right here you'll see that it looks like the resin pulled away from the wood and left a divot, a hole. We've got bubbles.
Can you do that again? Where's the bubbles?
There's bubbles here.
Oh, wait a minute. Zoomed in too far.
Bubbles here. There's a few bubbles down here. There's some pretty good sized bubbles here and up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix those. And I know I've looked for videos on how to fix these before in the past, couldn't find anything. So this is just my way of fixing this. Doesn't mean that's the way you have to do it. It doesn't mean that's the right way. See, right here I can feel on the edge too, it also pulled away from the board. So this is how I'm going to fix this. I just have a little Dremel, and I have this little tool that has this little tiny ball on there. And I'm just going to drill holes. And I don't know if you can hear me. I'm drilling the holes bigger than the bubble itself because I want it to fill in and not just to go back in there, create a bubble that's going to continue pulling away. So you don't want to go all the way down to the wood. But you want to get as close to it as you can. That's a deep bubble. So once I pour the resin back in here, it's going to fill all of this up, and you will never even know that there was an issue here. Looks kind of weird. Okay, now as far as this where it's pulled away from the wood, I just want to make sure I got all these out that I can see. Alright, that looks, oh no, here we go. There's some bubbles here. Alright. Now as far as this here, where the resin has pulled away from the wood, I'm just going to sand that down with probably like a, I don't know, maybe an 80 grit, and then I'm going to re-pour this. So I'm not going to show that on camera because you don't need to see me sanding resin again. I'm going to sand this down and I'm going to pour it again. I won't do that on camera. You saw me do that with the first pour. But when we come back, you'll see how it turns out. And I want you to make note again, look down here on the board and see where all of my little owies are.
So if you can tip it up a little bit more.
There you go.
Good.
All right, so again, here's our pull away, and the pull away is over here, and this is where the bubbles were, where I just used the Dremel and cleared them out. So when we come back, I will have sanded it, I will have poured the next coat of resin on. It's just going to need to be a real thin coat, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next step that I'm going to do to it. So we'll be back in just a minute. Hi guys, welcome back. So you saw how I use the Dremel to route those bubble holes and those blank spots on the board. So this is after I have poured the second coat of resin on it, and I still have a couple of little tiny pin bubbles, one here and one here, but I'm not going to worry about those because what I'm going to show you next, I don't think they're even going to show. So this method that I'm going to use is what I call the Andrew method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this down from, let's see, what is this? So this starts at 120 all the way up to 1,000, and it's not going to take long. It's just going to take a few minutes. So I am going to do that real quick, and I will might as well just set it up and do it now since I'm talking. Anyway, sorry, we were going to do a couple of scenes. But anyway, I'm going to do this, and then we'll move on to a finish on here that we'll talk about in a minute. So I'm just going to go ahead and sand. Sand it down smooth. So now I'm going to wipe it down, and then I'm going to spray it down with some alcohol just to make sure it's good and clean. My alcohol will come up through here. Come on, get up through there. There we go. Just to make sure there's no sawdust, which I'm sure there's sawdust on it, but not much anyway. So now you can see we have kind of a pretty much a matte, kind of a dull finish on it, which is going to pretty much stay that way. But let me tell you, that baby is so smooth. So now, this is a product, it's called Glacier Shield.
Hold it right there.
And I get this from Andrew, and what it does is it seals the actual resin and the board, and you can actually, it says apply minimal amount, and then rub it with a fiber cloth. And if I'm not mistaken, hold on, temperature resistant up to 800 degrees. So, you know, I just feel like if you got a serving board, I know I was at my sister's house and she was using her serving board. And man, you know, you got to be able to be careful. You don't need a lot. Whoops. And it doesn't come out too fast. And then you just rub it in. Rub it for a few minutes. I'll put a little bit more on here for this edge. Whoops. Too much. And this just helps protect it. It coats it. And you've still got the nice smooth. All right, so we did that. Put this, crud. Spilt. So we're gonna rub some more on there. This stuff is expensive, so you don't want to do what I just did. And I don't know exactly how much it was because I've had it for a long time. Now you take a dry, icky, sticky towel. I don't know what these things are called. And you just buff it for a few minutes. And you make sure all of that extra is off of there.
I think those are called microfiber towels.
I just hate the feel of them. They are nasty. You just want to make sure you got all of it buffed in there. And there you go. So, look how long that took. What, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? And there you go.
It has a gloss to it.
It does have a little gloss to it, but not much.
Can you stand it straight up? Let's see. Yeah, not anything like it did before.
Yeah,
so
and again, there were a couple little bubbles, and from the side, actually, I can see them. But you know what? I don't care.
I can't see them.
So now what we're going to do, we're going to come back, we're going to put some handles on it, because I got these handles somewhere. I think I put them, yeah. I got these handles, so we're going to come back, and Eric is going to put the handles on. So we'll be back in just a minute. All right, guys. So here is our finished product. So I like these handles. I think Eric got these at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got those at Home Depot, and he just countersunk the screws back here and screwed them in there. And then I just put the little feet on there. I just used some Starbond and put the feet on there so that it's not sitting right on the counter. So there it is. I am happy with that.
So hold it right there.
I think Amy will be happy with it. I hope it brings them some good monies for their raffle for this. And I hope you guys like it. It was fun. I really like this, again, Andrew method. This is so smooth. It's so nice. It's not shining, but you can set a pot of up to 800 degrees on this with this finish on there. So thanks for watching, you guys. It was fun. We have another project, actually several. One is mine and one is Eric's. Well, Eric and I both have to work on mine because he's got to do some carving on it. So Anyway, guys, keep watching. Thanks for watching this one, and give us some thumbs up, give us some love. We appreciate it. Comment on the channel, and have a great week, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.